Everything in this plane is checked out properly.
And traffic Edenvale, November Evektor Echo will be backtracking runway 31.
So what we'll do is I'll get this plane off the ground, we'll get us to a safe altitude, get away from the airport a little bit, and then I'll start showing you how to control this thing. You're gonna have lots of fun. Alright, might be a little bit bumpy on takeoff. It'll smooth out the higher we get, okay? So if you're ready, I'm ready.
Good to go.
Let's do this.
Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankees on the roll 26 with a right turnout towards Wasaga Beach, climbing to 2000.
Right now I'm just steering this thing with my feet.
Oh, okay.
We're off the ground, I'm waiting for some airspeed to build so I can start pulling back, and there we go. No longer need this lever, I'm going to lower that, that's our flaps.
Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankee is going to make a correction. We're airborne off of 26. We're going to do a left turn out, climbing at 2,500 en route to Barrie.
So right now we're 500 feet over the ground, now coming up on 600 feet. We started with this long needle on the 7. So when it gets all the way back to the 7, that's 1,000.
Oh, okay.
And traffic Edenvale, Golf November Evektor Echo, rolling runway 31 via fire to La Chute.
Approaching altitude.
So what the computer was talking about there is it was telling me that we're 1,000 feet over the ground.
Okay. And that's because you preset it to 7.
Yeah, see that little bug there?
Yeah.
It's set to 1,700. I can set it to any altitude. It's a good training aid to use because what I'll do is generally set that and have the students just follow where the bug is. So when we're flying along, your target will be the bug.
Okay.
So the higher we get, the smoother the air is going to get.
Okay.
So now we are 1,500 feet over the ground. Also, the higher we get, the safer we are, because in the event of, God forbid, an engine failure, we have more gliding distance.
Right.
So the last thing a pilot wants is his engine to fail at 500 feet, because you don't have many opportunities to make a turn to go to anywhere. Up here, if our engine fails, I can land on any of these fields. I'll just get us up a little bit higher. So here's 2,000 feet over the ground. I'm going to level the nose. I'm going to push it down a little bit like this. What we're feeling is just a little bit of thermal activity bumping us around.
Oh, that's the hot air rising, right?
That's right.
Okay.
So I no longer need full power. I pulled that back. This plane likes to cruise around at anywhere between 4,600 RPM and 5,000.
Yep.
So whenever we're just cruising, 46 to 5,000 RPM is the safe area to be in. If the air gets extremely rough and choppy, I'll back it down to 4,600. If it's really smooth, we'll go up to 5,000.
Oh, okay.
It's no different than going down a dirt road on your bike, right? If it was really bumpy, you would slow down, right? You might down gear a little bit, slow down. And if it's a real smooth dirt road, you would have no problem being in 5th gear and letting her go, right?
Yeah.
Right off to our right over here, that's baseboard.
Oh.
See that clearing there? There's a big beige clearing in the forest there.
Yeah.
That's baseboard.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we can't get too close to them. Wow, that was wild. I felt that. What it was we were getting sucked up into the cloud because they're building these clouds. So for a second there, the plane became weightless and it was being pulled up.
That's crazy.
Right now it's happening again, and it might give us a quick drop again. So you probably noticed that I'm barely doing anything with this control stick. Like just little tiny movements on this thing. Like look how my hand's holding it, just gentle. I'm not squeezing it.
Yeah.
I'm just very, very gentle moving it around.
Edenvale traffic, Kilo Bravo currently over Wasaga Beach. I'm going to do a straight in downwind 431.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that guy know that we're out of this area so he doesn't have to worry about looking for us.
Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankee, clear your zone to the southeast at 2,600.
Morning, Billy.
Good morning, Mr. Bill.
Do you have any more talks with the guys at the 701 yet?
Negative. He was supposed to call me the other night at 9 o'clock and he didn't, and I'll just wait for him to call me back.
Okay, I guess at this point then I'm going to leave it up in your hands. Let me know what's going to happen.
Yeah, no problem. I had a good talk with him, and he said he was going to call me that evening because I was at a store when he was talking to me, and he didn't call.
Okay, thanks. Edenvale traffic, Kilos of the Bravo now established on the left down.
So I've now switched off of their frequency. We don't need it anymore.
Okay.
I'm switching to the frequency that is for Cookstown Airport. Barrie, Springwater has a little airport here. So it makes sense for a pilot to be on the frequency for the closest airport. So most other air traffic would be on it. All right, Mike, you ready to try this thing?
Sure.
All right, so what you're going to do is take your left hand, gently put it on that control stick, and I'm going to walk you through a few turns.
2.5 mile, base 27, touch and go.
So, to turn the aircraft, if we want to take a plane left,
Contact function clear. Sierra Charlie Lima.
we're going to just use the aileron, so that's our stick.
Cross over the field, center of that side, turn the left downwind 27. Launch down, shot.
So we're just going to use the stick for the turns in the beginning, okay?
Sure.
For now, we're going to do a turn to the left, and to do that, we're just going to take the stick and just a little push. That's all it takes. Feel how the wings banking?
Yeah.
Notice how the bank's going to get sharper and sharper and sharper unless we pull this back.
So once you start a bank, it'll just keep pulling you?
It'll eventually roll right over.
Oh, okay.
So you can't just go like this and then forget about it.
Right.
But you wouldn't, because you're going to look forward. You're going to see it getting steeper, and you just pull it back. So now we're level again. Almost. There's level. And we're going to do a right turn. So keep your hand on it. Squeeze it.
Yep.
There's a right turn there. You can feel the turn happening.
Yeah.
You can see the turn happening. Now we'll level it off again. Just pull back. Very, very gentle motion on the control stick. Conversely, if we want to take the plane and go up, right now we're at 2,700 feet.
Yep.
We're going to take and just pull the stick back a little bit. See the nose come up?
Yeah.
You get confirmation that we're climbing by watching that thing go up. Also, you'll notice the other thing that's happening is our airspeed started getting slow. That needle started coming slower. So to counteract that, if we want to climb, we add more power. In this aircraft, we don't generally want to go slower than 60. So right now we're at the slow speed. We don't want to go any slower than that. So we can either push the nose forward so it speeds up. Now it's starting to climb up to the 70s. If we want to go down, stick away from us like this. Now we're going down, but you'll also notice the airspeed will start climbing rapidly fast.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to back off the throttle.
Okay.
Because we don't need to be screaming going down, because eventually you'll get in a dangerous situation where you overspeed the aircraft. Now to get there, we'd have to be at 120, but why piss around with it, right? Why test fate, right?
Yeah. Now what does overspeeding do?
Overspeeding, I guess in the worst case scenario, would rip your wings off.
Okay, I don't want that.
No, you don't want that. That'd be the worst case scenario. Simple things, parts of your plane could start falling off. Panels. Because just imagine holding your arm straight out like a wing.
Yeah.
You know you wouldn't be able to do that for long, because the amount of force, like that's a lot of pressure on leverage on a long arm. If you're putting a crazy amount of force on it because you're going super fast, imagine they're going to be pulling backwards like that, right? Now we won't see the flex, but it's flexing all the aluminum, right? And eventually, if you push it too hard, you can snap shit. Okay. So as long as we're in this green area from 100, I don't know, to 70, you're not going to have any danger of that ever happening. And we control our airspeed by what we do with this control stick. If we want to go crazy fast, we'll push it down, but you'd be an idiot to nosedive the plane because you will get going super fast.
Right.
So right here, it doesn't really matter what altitude we fly at. Everything we're doing here is completely legal. I want you to feel what it's like to try turning this plane around. Like, play around with it. I'm going to keep my hand close by.
Okay. So I'm going to go left.
Yeah. The one challenging thing people find is trying to make turns without climbing or descending.
Right.
Very nice. Look at that.
Wow, I can't believe how little it actually takes.
That's right.
Like, that's crazy.
RNAV 2760 Sierra Peterborough.
Wow. That is awesome.
Going with Unicom, Tiger 335, radio check.
So these instruments are reference points.
Okay.
The last thing you want to do when you're training to become a pilot is to get your head focused on this stuff.
Right.
If you're too much in here, you're going to miss the lesson. The lesson is out here.
Right.
Learning the muscle memory and where the horizon should be is all outside the cockpit. If you concentrate on this like a computer screen, you can do that at home on a flight simulator.
Yeah.
It's not going to make you a better pilot, it's going to make you a choppy pilot, because trying to achieve all of these things perfectly is impossible. So that's why we, give or take, try to fly at a set altitude, whatever we decided it to be at. So right now I decided it's 2,700. If you start climbing, no big deal. Just gently push the nose. Don't try to chase it.
Right.
If you do, like I said, we're going to be all over the sky. No different than whenever you look at your speedo on your bike. If the speed limit's 80 and you realize, oh shit, I'm doing 100, you don't jam on the brakes.
No.
You just ease off on the throttle and let it back down gently.
Yeah.
So it's the same principle in a plane. I can't tell you how often I find students that get consumed with a certain thing on there and they start trying to fly it. Let's do a south turn this way. Let's go. This is Highway 27 right here.
Okay.
Let's fly along 27. The reason why I say that is over there is Cookstown Skydiving and we don't want to fly into their zone.
Got it.
So right now when you're doing the turn, you're in a gradual climb. That's fine.
Oh,
but
okay,
eventually we have to get that programmed out of you.
Got it.
I don't expect anybody to master this within 3 hours. It takes a little bit of time.
So does that mean I was pulling back a little bit?
You had a gentle pullback on the stick in the turn.
Zero traffic, Boston Cedar Trail, Lima, turning along final, runway 27.
Zero traffic, Golf Golf Echo Romeo is turned on 11-mile final for the RNAV runway 27, expecting the field in 8 minutes.
Whoa.
Correction in 5 minutes.
So right now we're dealing with a few things. We have some winds coming out of the west, coming this way,
Evektor turning long base to runway 27.
which I'm sure is also coming with gusts. And we're also getting some thermal activity from the sun heating the earth.
Got it.
It's annoying, but it's all part of flying. We got to learn how to do it. If you look straight ahead of us there, you can see the Toronto city skyline.
Wow.
See that?
That's so cool.
We can get places pretty fast in this thing. Like already we're in Cookstown. We've been in the air for
Tiger 325,
like 12 minutes.
So the wind coming from the west, that's why the plane's flying on that. It's pushing the tail over?
Yep. It's pushing the tail and it's drifting us. It's helping us in a way. As it's pushing the tail, it's keeping us on a better true track straight down one of these lines.
Traffic there in Golf Echo Romeo is on a...
If it was really aggressive, say we had to fly from...
Runway 27 approach Peterborough.
We want to get to a specific spot directly south of here. And we don't want the plane to drift. That's where we use our rudders. So, if you find the drift is too much, you can start incorporating a little bit of a right push on the rudder. It'll steer the nose more this way, but it'll keep our ground track straight. So try that. Try pushing your right foot down gently. There you go. See that?
Oh, cool.
Now we're crooked in the sky, but we're tracking straight south.
That's crazy.
So that's what we use the rudders for, is to steer the tail to wherever we want it.
Got it.
It controls the tail. Don't get under the misconception that a lot of people have from the movies that that's how you steer the plane. It isn't. It's how we coordinate the tail while we're turning the aircraft or while we're flying straight.
Got it. So none of the controls in the plane will reset to 0, will they? Like if I push on the rudder, if I leave it there, it'll stay in that position?
No, it will. If you get your feet right off it, generally it'll go to the path of the least resistance and go straight.
Oh, okay.
There's no spring or anything pulling it back into place.
Okay.
It's just relying on the wind going over and maybe holding it straight.
Okay, that's what, okay.
Now, for the most part, most aircraft are designed to fly hands off. So if you were to take your hands off, it's not going to nosedive. It's probably going to continue doing what we're doing.
Oh, okay. Now on a 4-mile final for runway 27 via the RNAV 27.
There's the Cookstown Outlet Mall right down there.
We'll be landing.
So right now, thermal lifting us up a little bit.
I felt that, holy crap.
When the storms get in a little bit closer, then it gets more violent. It'll start lifting us maybe 400 feet at a time. And it gets really annoying.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, but as long as you understand that the plane wants to fly, it's really not.
Yep, I can do that. You should have enough time. I'm early on the downwind right now.
How's that control feeling to you so far?
Sorry?
How are the controls feeling for you so far?
Different.
Yeah?
Different from what I've ever experienced anything, right?
I'm sure.
Charlie, turning 2-mile base for runway 2, stop and go. Peterborough, Golf Echo Romeo is short final for runway 27, full stop.
Peterborough traffic, Sierra is extending left downwind for runway 27, full stop for the traffic.
So yeah, the wind is doing that. That's a thermal. That just kicked us.
Yeah.
Charlie, turning left, final runway 27, stop and go.
The way I envisioned dealing with thermals, at least when I first started flight training, was imagine it's like a boxing fight. Somebody punches you on the left cheek, you punch back left.
Oh.
So when you're getting punched, pretend it's the wind fighting you, right? Fight back. So if it pulls up that left wing, punch it back down.
Got it. Okay.
So that's all you do. You just sit there and go pop, 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 push it around, right? Don't let the plane fly you. You fly the plane.
Okay. That's actually a really, I like the way you put that.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough. And if you think about it that way, at least I find it makes somebody less scared as a pilot. Because if you feel you're at the mercy of everything around you, you don't feel in control, and then you're going to get yourself in trouble. You're not going to have any confidence, and that's whenever you make mistakes. But as long as you understand what's going on, and you understand you're not going to break this thing, it's not made out of glass, so you can beat up that wind as much as you want.
Sierra Charlie Sierra, this is Sierra Charlie Lima.
Sierra Charlie Lima, Sierra Sierra, go ahead.
Let's do a pass by your house.
I'm just coming up on the threshold.
So we'll go that way?
I'm trying to do some power off 180s. Do you mind if I cut in front of you? Do a slant final?
bit of a climb, but that's fine. I'm just going to add a bit of throttle. There's Bradford.
Peterborough, Texas, Los Angeles, Evektor.
Oh wow, I didn't realize we were at Bradford already.
Second go.
So let's see if you can figure out where we are now. We could take this plane if you want and lower it down. We could go down another 1,000 feet.
Oh no, I'm okay.
You're okay up here?
Yeah.
You don't like going low?
Well, first flight, I'd rather stay up.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like, I've never been in a plane, like the only planes I've ever been in is the big stuff.
Yeah.
Sierra Charlie Lima, looks like
Now, do you feel relatively safe up here, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like, when the thermals kick us around and stuff, it just makes my stomach knot up.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's fine. Okay, so that's the 400.
That's right.
That's, what's it called? I can't remember the name of the road. I know where it is because that's Bob Fallis.
Yep. Look how clear you can see Toronto now.
That's crazy.
India back taxiing runway 36 at Cookstown.
Zero, Texas, Los Angeles, Evektor extending downwind for traffic.
Go ahead. Go ahead, manifest. Sierra Charlie Lima, long final, runway 27.
Did you notice I'm not really doing too much with the throttle today? I'm kind of just set, right?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll notice the RPMs creep up too fast, so I'll back it down just a little bit. The throttle works two ways in this aircraft. You can turn the dial like a volume dial on a stereo, or you can do quick response by squeezing this ball and pushing it in.
Oh, okay. Base to runway 27, touch and go. Echo Sierra Charlie for Sierra Charlie Sierra.
So that's the 6th line right there.
That is.
36 at Cookstown.
Oh, okay, so this... I just can't remember the name of that road, but I know that's the 5th line. That's the canal, and there's my place.
I can see your place right now.
That's awesome.
Peterborough traffic, Cessna 172, Golf Sierra Echo, Quebec is approximately 14 miles to the west of the field, 2,500 feet.
So what we can do, when we get over the marsh, we can do a left turn and then fly up towards Lake Simcoe.
Runway 27 for stop and go, Peterborough.
So about how much fuel does this thing burn?
3.5 US gallons an hour.
That seems like very little fuel.
Barely anything. Yeah, my major expenses are insurance, oil changes. Yeah, still the fuel's $1.50 50 a liter, right? So here, let's do a left turn. Yeah.
Peterborough traffic, Echo Sierra Charlie.
Yeah, your place right down there.
27, stop and go.
So I was looking at this, I have a GPS map here. See this big blue circle?
Yeah.
We're starting to enter into Toronto airspace.
Okay.
So if we go any further south, I have to radio in and get permission.
Okay.
So we can just go like this and follow the river, follow the canal up, and go towards Lake Simcoe.
Oh, so that's... Oh, okay, cool. Because me and my buddy, we take the canal on the... Well, when I had my snowmobile.
Yeah.
We took it all the way up into Lake Simcoe.
Yeah, so this is the way you were going.
God, I never realized how big Bradford actually was at this point.
It's getting huge now.
It's too big.
Yep. So we're coming up over top of downtown Bradford.
Oh yeah, there's the old arena.
So it took us 20 minutes to get from Edenvale to Bradford.
Wow.
So a little faster than half the time of driving it.
Yeah, because it took me just under an hour.
Yep. Well, that's the general rule of thumb is, if you want to get somewhere, you can do it and at the very least half the time. If not, you could do it at a third of the time.
Okay.
Providing you're doing, say, 100K on the ground, right?
Yeah.
But if you had to drive to, I don't know, cottage country where some of the roads get into the 80s and 60s,
Yeah.
this is the way to do it, man, because you'll get there real quick.
Is there any ever speed limits?
No, sir.
It just depends on the plane, right?
That's right. So if we had a supersonic jet right now, we can do it. There's a, 1 second here. I have control. See that aircraft in front of us?
Oh, wow, okay.
What the hell is that?
Peterborough traffic, Sierra Charlie Sierra is
Chopper.
turning left 2.5 mile base, runway 27 full stop.
Wow. Huh. Silver line. All right, okay, you can take over again.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was rare.
So you just adjusted the
Yeah, I brought us to 2,500 now.
Okay.
Traffic off Central Quebec entering the zone from the west, 2,200 feet descending will be entering.
So I could show you a few more instruments. They're nice to have, but like I said, I don't want you to get fixated on them because it's going to ruin the experience of flying and you're not going to learn as quickly.
Yeah, really, I'm just glancing at them.
This guy right here is called a vertical speed indicator. That tells us a quicker reaction time if we're climbing or descending. When the needle's on the zero, we're relatively level. The plane is not sensing a barometric pressure change from up and down. Right now, see how it's a little bit up? That means we're in a bit of a climb. Now we're in a bit of a descent. But if you tried to fly by staring at that, you're going to be like this. So, like I said, you just merely use it as quick references.
Okay.
You can really see how weather is formed on a day like today.
Yeah.
Look at how the clouds are dark over top of Simcoe on the bottoms, but not so dark over here. That's the evaporation of the water coming up and building those clouds right over the lake. That's why the east side of the lake gets dumped on by rain all the time.
Because the wind blows it over.
That's right. The majority of our weather comes from the northwest and goes this way.
Okay.
So all of this stuff will let loose probably this way, down towards Stouffville, all that.
Okay.
Keswick is over here. We're now at Cooks Bay.
Should be Fitzgerald. Alright, sounds good. We'll see you guys in a bit. To go west, it's bound for landing, go about 10 miles.
Never realized how big Lake Simcoe actually is.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Like, because when we're in the snowmobiles, we always just go into Cooks Bay here. And
Yeah. Yeah, but once you get to the big bulk of the lake out there, that's big.
wow.
Peterborough traffic, Echo Sierra Charlie is on
Downwind, runway 27, stop and go.
Zero traffic, Foxtrot Yankee Victor, turning final for runway 27, touch and go.
Feel those thermals kind of pushing us around?
Yeah. I think my stomach's starting to finally get used to them a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, was it making your stomach upset?
No, just like a roller coaster.
Okay.
Yeah, like not a fan of it, but it doesn't really bother me.
27, stop and go.
But in time, you may get to the point where you can puke, right?
I don't think so.
If that is the case, I would say don't let it discourage you, because when I first started flying, I would actually get violently airsick.
Oh yeah?
I get to the point where like I was going to
Leaving
heave,
altitude.
man. You get into the cold sweats and everything.
Yeah.
I listened to my instructor. I thought at first he was scamming me. He said, just keep doing it. Keep doing it. It'll go away. And I went through 6 grueling hours of flight training of it, constantly creeping up on me where I felt like I was going to die. But eventually, your inner ear gets used to it, and it won't cause those signals anymore. For most people. What it is, it's the equilibrium fluid in our ear.
Yeah.
And if you're not used to this sensation, it's spinning around and causing major issues in your inner ear. But once your brain gets programmed how to handle it, then it goes away.
Okay.
Some other people have to take Gravol and stuff like that to make sure it doesn't happen. But it's not wise to be a pilot taking drugs.
No.
Because it hinders your, your abilities.
Yeah.
Although it's an innocent drug, but it slows your motor skills down, the Gravol. Wow, Innisfil's growing crazy too.
Oh wow.
Charlie is turning final, runway 27, traffic on short final, we have to expect.
Nose on traffic, Tiger 335.
This is, I guess that's Stroud. Or is this no, this is Innisfil Beach down here. I think.
Yeah, it looks like it.
South and east, we're going to travel to the north of the airport, overfly downtown, then enter over.
India, we're 9,000 heading to the east towards Big Bay.
Peterborough traffic, Foxtrot Sierra Charlie Lima, turning downwind, runway 27, planning on doing the power off 180 approach from the downwind for 27.
Getting a little more comfortable?
Yeah.
Manifest, India.
This is too cool.
Yep.
Manifest, India, how do you read?
Peterborough traffic, Foxtrot Sierra Charlie Lima, commencing the power off 180 approach from the downwind 27.
Peterborough traffic, Foxtrot Yankee Victor, turning downwind for runway 27, touch and go.
Nose on traffic, Tiger 335. 335 Tiger. 335. Peterborough traffic, Sierra Charlie Lima, final.
So we keep going up and down because of these big clouds, right?
Yes and no, sort of. The clouds are also letting us know where the up currents are.
Right.
So it's more, the clouds are the effect of the up and down.
Oh, okay.
Peterborough traffic.
That's why they're forming here, is because there's a major updraft here and it's sucking.
Peterborough.
It's sucking this moisture out of the water up.
Oh, okay.
Peterborough traffic, North American side office, it was 2,400 feet. We're passing the north of the airport. Over to fly downtown.
That's crazy how much it's pulling up.
Lifting up. Yeah, this one's a big one sucking up. Yeah, see how your nose is down?
And it's still pulling up. That's wild.
Just over in the field.
Approaching altitude.
So what we can do now, right in front of us, is another airport. We don't want to go towards them. That's Lake Simcoe Regional.
Okay.
We can alter our course in that direction, maybe towards that little lake there.
Got it.
I just put it on their frequency so I can listen to any pilots that might be landing or taking off there. This is Friday Harbor Golf Course. Edenvale Bay with Barry at the end there.
Oh, okay.
Lake Simcoe traffic in the Papa Yankee Sierra is 2 miles to the northeast, cruising towards the southwest at 3,000 feet. Lake Simcoe traffic.
Generally, when we get over top of the water like this, the thermals will cut down to nothing.
Oh, okay.
Because the sun's being absorbed by the water, so it's not bouncing anything up. Now, the bigger the body of water, the more you feel that effect.
So it's smoother over the water then?
Absolutely. The only problem with it is you don't want to be irresponsible and fly over large bodies of water, because if your engine fails, you're stuck landing in the water.
Yeah.
Now, knock on wood, this plane has now 720 hours on it. Never had an engine failure. Never even had a hint of one, so that's good.
So looking in the water there, the dark spots, that's all deep water, right?
You know, it's hard to tell.
Oh, okay.
Because this, no, you know what that is? That's the shadow of the clouds.
Oh, wow, okay.
What it is, Edenvale Bay is the deepest spot of Lake Simcoe, so this is the deepest area. I think the depths get as deep as in some places, so, or I could be wrong, could even be more than that. But it's pretty damn deep in this area. Sometimes you'll see the different colored waters where it will be silt or something like that. Oh. But as I was watching those, I can see that they're moving a little bit, changing shape, so it's definitely the clouds. No different than what we're seeing up here, those little dark spots all over land.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
Now feel how the thermals are starting to kick your butt again?
Yeah, a little bit.
Leaving altitude. Approaching altitude.
So what we do to avoid those as pilots is sometimes we'll just keep climbing higher.
Oh, okay.
So here's Highway 400 that heads up towards Perry Sound.
Oh.
This is the 411 split right here that we're about to go over.
Leaving altitude.
So it just lifted you up again, huh?
Approaching altitude.
Have any questions for me in regards to flying?
Not as of yet.
Okay.
This is just wild. You can fly this plane at night, right?
Sorry?
Can you fly this plane at night?
Not legally.
Oh, okay.
In Canada, they don't allow you to fly anything that's registered as an ultralight or an advanced ultralight at night.
Oh.
Even if you had all the instrumentation, all the
traffic,
lights.
Cessna traffic, 2,500 feet, just approaching Thornton, and we're northeastbound. We'll be going over Kempsville Base. Evektor Julie Call.
Peterborough traffic, Oscar from Quebec.
Approaching where?
Pressing the lockdown, there's runway 27 for a Foxtrot.
Thornton, yeah. Yeah, we're not near him. So here, you'll see, it's hard, maybe past all this development, you'll see a little runway out there. Paved runway, that's the Barrie Executive Airport.
Oh, okay.
There's airports everywhere. Yeah, unfortunately you can't fly this at night in Canada. In the US, you can fly this at night if you have a night rating. So the pilot themselves needs another stamp in their book saying they're night certified.
Oh, okay.
So you have to have landing lights, you have to have, this thing has all the stuff you need to do it, it's just it's not legal in Canada because it has an I in the registration.
Oh.
But if an American wanted to buy, like say I moved to the States and wanted to fly this there at night, I could.
Oh, okay.
I'd just bring it down there, switch your registration to US, and then you can fly this at night.
Cool.
We just did one huge loop, all the way to Bradford, all the way back.
My God.
Leaving altitude. Approaching altitude.
This cloud's going to rain shortly. You can tell how dark it's getting.
Yeah.
You might feel this cloud. Yeah, I think that's what you're feeling is the cloud. Yeah, Wildy gets underneath them?
Yeah.
So the airport we took off from is, I don't know if you can see it in the distance over there.
Sorta, yeah.
See one runway going this way and there's another one going that way.
Oh, yeah.
It's right next to that long highway there, 26.
Got it.
Now I'm on their frequency. I'm actually surprised I don't hear any pilots there today. So what we have to do is we're going to have to figure out what runway to use based on which way the wind is blowing. You always want to take off a plane and land a plane into the wind as best as possible.
Right.
So wind is very important to find out the direction. Now in the case of up here, I can tell that we're being blown this way.
Okay.
That's the way the plane is flying. So odds are on the ground it's probably accurate. So I would think we're going to want to use the same runway that we took off on.
Okay.
There's another way I can find out is I can listen to that automatic weather observation system. It'll tell me the compass direction that the wind is blowing at right now. Or if I don't trust that thing, we can fly over top and look at the direction of the windsock. See which way the windsock is blowing. So in order to land an aircraft, you can't just go and land on a runway, unless it was an emergency. What we have to do is we have to enter the
traffic, it's Mooney, Charlie Golf, Kilo Romeo Papa, crossing 0826, taxiing Delta for departure on 31, Kilo Romeo Papa.
So that guy's going to use runway 31. He answered the question for me. So we'll use the same one, which is a long one. But before we can do that, we have to lower down to a certain altitude to enter into the traffic pattern called the circuit. The circuit's an imaginary highway that resembles a big rectangle that's over top of the airport. So we kind of got to look at the layout of the airport, imagine seeing these lines in the air that we have to eventually fly to land properly. So in the case of us landing on 3-1, which is the runway going in this direction, we're parallel to it right now.
Yeah.
What we have to do is we have to lower down to 1,700 feet, fly towards the airport, cross straight over top of that runway, Then we're going to have to make a left turn onto what we call the downwind leg, another left turn on base, and another left turn on final.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to start navigating us that way, and then we'll begin a gradual descent, and we'll go down to 1,700 feet.
Okay, so
position, runway
left turn then?
Yeah, just do a left turn. And like I said, we're just going to allow the nose to start coming down, and we'll start going back towards the ground. We'll go to 1,700 feet. Okay, so push the nose forward. That's right, descend. Let her come down. I'm going to back off the power. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to demonstrate something for you to maybe make it a little easier for you.
Sure.
So just give me control for a second. I have control. I'm going to show you in the event that we did have an engine failure, just so you can see how smooth this plane flies. There you go, our engine's off.
Wow.
That's what happens. So right now I would be going... Nice fields here. Beautiful fields there. We're actually going to make it to the airport with no engine. So this is no engine.
That's crazy.
Throttle's right to nothing.
Yeah, so it's just you're just idling.
Idling. So I'm going to make a quick radio announcement here.
Inbound traffic, Kilo Romeo Papa, takeoff, roll 31, left turn.
Hey, we need one additional taxi. There's just the one ordered already.
So yeah, we're descending?
Yeah.
With no engine.
Edenvale traffic, SportStar India Juliet Kilo Yankees, 5 miles northeast of the field, descending through 2,200 to circuit height. Going to cross overhead the field and join a mid-left downwind, 3-1.
If you want to keep flying it, feel free, and I'll just add some power again for you, but we're still not at the 1,700.
Yeah.
So this is it. This is flying a plane with no engine.
Wow.
Actually, we probably wouldn't make the runway now. We would have to land over here somewhere if our engine was dead, right?
Yeah.
Approaching altitude.
There's our power again. You can almost feel the G-force a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go. So you have control again, and we're just going to fly straight over top of that runway at 1,700 feet. And I'm going to look down at that windsock, make sure we're making the right decision to land on that runway. Whoa. Yeah, the closer we get to the ground, the more violent these thermals are. But we have to be 1,000 feet over the ground to enter the circuit.
Right.
So pull back on that nose a little bit. We got to climb up about 80 feet. There we go.
So that plane straight ahead of us, he's in the circuit?
He's departing the circuit. He's leaving out to the south, he said.
Oh, okay.
He's technically almost in the circuit, but I can tell he's higher than it.
Oh.
Because if we're at 1,700 feet, he should be right in front of us at level.
Oh.
So since he's higher, you can tell he's leaving. So the reason why we have the circuit is so we never collide with each other. That's why he knows not to be at 1,000 feet right now. So right now I'm going to have to make another radio announcement.
Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankees, overhead the field to join a mid-left downwind, 3-1.
Mooney Kilo Romeo Papa is clearing the zone to the east, climbing through 3,000.
So that's him. Now here's where it's going to get all exciting. So I don't know if you're going to want to be controlling it for all this, but
No, you got it.
I have control. So what we're doing here is we're entering onto like an on-ramp on the highway. There's an imaginary highway running this way, parallel with the runway,
Yep.
called the downwind, and that's what we're doing now. We're entering on the on-ramp.
Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankees, turning mid-left downwind, 3-1.
So that's why I have to announce it, because we're entering it. So now we're officially in the downwind. We're going to have a direct crosswind, it looks like. I don't know why the guy used this runway. Not dangerous, well, it's not quite direct, it's almost. I'm used to it, but I wouldn't be making a novice land on this. Because a crosswind makes your landings much more challenging.
Right.
So I'm still maintaining 1,700 feet, flying the circuit in this direction, parallel with that runway. Once I pass that runway by approximately 45-degree angle, I'm going to make a left turn onto base. Right around here.
Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankees, turning left base, 3-1, full stop.
So this is where you take the aircraft and you slow it down, and we put our flaps on. Flaps are located below the wing in this aircraft. They help
Edenvale traffic, Cessna 150,
make a
Golf
larger
Tango
wing.
Whiskey Charlie is taxiing for departure on 3-1, down Delta, holding short.
So here's my flap lever 1, it allows the nose to point down. Flap number 2, so we're creating a lot of drag. The nose is really down, nice and slow. It's nice and safe to fly the plane with the flaps on at a slow speed.
Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankees, turning final, 3-1, full stop.
A little bit of wind blowing me off course just a touch. So this is where it becomes a dance between your power setting and your stick.
Yeah.
Your stick is used to set your speed. If I want to go faster, I push the stick down. If I want to go slower, I pull back. Now, we want to be flying this at 65 knots. So I'm pretty close to there right now. If I want to stay up in the air, I add some power, and it'll just hold us right up here.
Right.
If I want to come down, I lower the power. But the stick position doesn't move that much here, because I've kind of locked it on with my hand at 65.
Got it.
I'm just aiming for center line, and once I get over top of the runway, I'm going to kill the power, and I'm just going to use my feet to steer the tail straight. See how I'm doing that?
Yeah.
Now the nose is straight, and I'm just going to keep flying the aircraft until it touches down. Just like that. Holding that nose wheel off in a catwalk.
Cool.
If I let the nose touch down, it becomes like that. See how it starts going all wavy all over the place?
Yeah.
If I pull it back a bit, that won't happen. There we go. Then I could steer with the rudder still and not the nose wheel.
That's cool.
Once I set it down, that nose wheel becomes aggressive like that. It starts waving all over the place like a speed wobble. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit on this runway.
Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankees, clear of 3-1, backtracking 26 to the apron.
How was that, man?
That was wild. Holy crap.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah, it was only right near the end where my head started to, like, feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, about maybe the last 10 minutes at most.
Yeah.
Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankees, clear of 26 on the apron.
Are you saying apron?
Yes.
Okay.
This area here is called an apron or a ramp. Depends on what you want to call it. Either way is a correct term.
Edenvale traffic, Cessna 150, Golf Tango Whiskey Charlie, backtracking 3-1 for departure.
Bingo bango.
Engine speed. Oil pressure.
Perfect.